walk, baby. Let's go. All right. All right, so where did this come from, by the way?
What's
the whole
that?
walk.
Oh, that's a great question to start with. I think I've always been somebody who A, enjoys having a ball in my hand, but B, also the idea of movement. I think that's where I get a lot of peace of mind, right? And also do my best thinking. So it's where I do like to tap into when just the normal course of a day, you're able to sort of regulate yourself or reorient yourself with this setting and be able to tap back into the office setting afterwards with a fresh perspective, so to speak. But also just the movement helps me get to a place that, you know, if I'm just stationary or seated, I may not find myself getting to.
How many steps do you get in a day?
That I don't know. I do have one of the watches that allows you to track that, and I can't say that I've actually ever looked. But nonetheless, I do enough standing, so I don't know that it's all that much. If I just take a couple of laps, it's probably nothing significant.
Well, you look good, and you're in good shape. In about 15 more years, maybe, you might be tracking the steps.
You know what? I know it's on the horizon that the food that I eat, the metabolism is going to slow down, and it's going to start wearing on me a little bit more, and maybe I'll have to pick up the pace and start jogging instead of walking.
It's the right move. Let's go.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Jake.
That's how Tony woke up.
Oh, we'll plug the hunt here. This is where we saw it. I mean, you helping make that trade for Travis. So business gets done out here.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, and I think it's safe to say that won't be the last time that that's the case. But nonetheless, it's become a helpful mechanism for me in the decision-making process, and really just to be able to connect with people. You know, stepping out here, being in a different setting than, you know, just watching practice or being in a meeting room. It allows for a more personal touch, personal connection in some instances.
All right, so we hear all this about Les Snead, and obviously he's a mentor and the Rams and everything, but is that like your whole leadership style, what we're seeing at James Gladstone? Is it all credit to the Rams, that organization, Les, or are there different parts where it comes from?
Who I am is a credit to anybody that I've ever really come in contact with, and the people that I lean into most. It goes back to my parents, my family members, my friends, really my coaches growing up, and certainly by the time that I got into this space, this line of work, it was easy to turn to Les and look at Les as the example. And so yeah, there's a ton that I point to with Les in particular about my modes of operation, the way in which I handle business, the way in which I interact and communicate to team members, and the way that I collaborate with anybody that's involved in the process. And so, yeah, I point to him as a North Star, so to speak, or as somebody that, you know, I think about frequently. At the same time, he was somebody who was unapologetically himself and offered people the luxury of doing the same. And so we're not exact matches. We're not the exact same person. And so I have my own flair, my own flavor, and that's what I attempt to put into practice.
You're obviously a pretty smart guy. You don't get here probably without it, but you're known as an elite.
I got you fooled.
Yeah, maybe. Well, you can fool me. I'm not that smart, but you're an elite communicator, and I think that's what people say about you. I think they say similar things about Liam. I mean, communication's hard. A lot of people can't do it. Is that a learned thing, as practice thing, or is that a gift? How do you view it?
I think that takes time, it takes practice, and I don't know that I would label myself as an elite communicator. My wife certainly wouldn't say that. But nonetheless, I'm trying to get better with every day, every step, and I know that I appreciate when somebody would acknowledge that, but man, that's something I'm constantly working on. And I point back to my father, being able to be in moments where he was in small group settings, and to be able to so vividly paint a visual for what he was trying to get across always caught me. It always drew me in. And I think a lot of it started there, where I was like, oh, it doesn't have to be where there's all this uncertainty. There can be this transparency, this directness, but also this graceful approach to ensure that, you know, it's not something that gets in the way of finding the best result or taking the next best step. And so I think that's certainly something that I always work on.
All right, one more thing before I ask you about some football. You were emotional at that news conference when you were introduced. Was that a long time coming? Was that a spur of the moment kind of spill of emotion at the reality of the situation? Because we haven't seen a ton of emotion out of you since. Was that just the gravity of the moment?
To my wife, Julie. To my daughter, Sabine.
I think so. I think as I think back to it, it certainly wasn't something that I was planning for. I was definitely having a hard time. It was pointed at the fact that I was seeing some really important people in my life staring at me up there, and so it was probably rooted in that visual more than just about anything. And I can say that, look, it's an important step not only for me but so many people who have helped me along the way. Right? It's a reflection of them. It's a reflection of the people that I was a teammate of. Because this type of an opportunity doesn't come from just my actions.
You're in Jacksonville now. You're a star right now. Like, is that uncomfortable?
That's weird to hear you say it, certainly, because it's not how I view it. We got to win some football games. Right now, it's some version of exciting that there's a shift, but the main thing is still the main thing, and that's what I look forward to getting.
How good's your football team?
Time will tell. It's up to us to bring everything in front of us to life, and I'm really excited about how the identity of this group has started to form and really shape into what we had in large part said out loud. The toughness is really something that is becoming apparent, and it's not just the moments of being able to move a pile and score a touchdown like we did against the Steelers. It's also the moments when there's adversity.
Do you know that or think that you're on that path of being a physically tough, mentally tough team?
It's certainly shown itself to date. I can't wait for that to be the case here as we get into the regular season, because preseason is nothing more than practice. And so at this point, obviously we still have more to prove.
He's a rare person, he's a rare player, but he's also a reminder that the boundaries of the game of football were built to be challenged.
You said something about Travis, which was really cool, because I work in the media. He can change the game. It's interesting, after that, I had some folks in the NFL just be like, why did he say that? Isn't it already assumed you guys gave up a lot? Why did you say that? Do you regret maybe putting that more on top of this move at all, or how do you view it?
No, I don't have a problem. I think the actions speak louder than words. You don't make that move unless you feel like somebody can change the game in some way, shape, or form for you. I do think it's got the chance, because we're doing something that has not been done in quite some time. He's attacking an opportunity for that. It's certainly, speak it into existence, to say it out loud is not something I'm scared of, because it's what we're trying to do. It's transparent. And I think that our fan base is going to appreciate that in particular, and knowing that when they hear from us, they're not going to hear anything other than what we believe to be truth and the best thing for us, and I hope that that's understood.
I like where we're at right now, but it's about the whole season getting better. It's not about just where you're at week one. We got a long year.
You've said to everybody that walked in here, just be who you are, right? Do you think Trevor's doing that? Because that guy could have had the weight of the world on his shoulders for the last 4 years or so. How do you view him and his growth in that respect?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I do think he's continuing to be who he is innately, but the best version of himself. So he is spreading himself in a way that, to us, obviously, we can't point to the inner workings, the daily habits and things like that existed prior to our arrival. We weren't here. But we know that he's doing exactly what's been asked of him and more. And he's going above the playbook at this point to make it so that this team can rally around him and lean on him, knowing that that's exactly what we're going to need from him.
Let me ask you about Liam. You know him a little bit, but what have you seen from him as a first-year head coach? There's a lot on his plate. I was really interested in watching him during the preseason. Didn't look like you blinked much. Had a bunch of situations to execute. That was my view. What about yours? Is he the same guy you met way back when?
I think we would both say that from the first time we met, each of us have evolved. And that's the same case for our football team. We want this team to evolve. Who we are now is not who we should be by the end of the season. And specific to Liam, it has been so cool to see how he moves, how he operates, because it is natural, it's organic. His gut is something that I trust to the fullest degree, and you can see it in his play calling. You can see it in the way that he strings together one play to the next, and it's not off a script. It's off of instinct, it's off of seeing it in real time and being able to execute what is actually appropriate next. And so that part has been really, really special from my point of view. If I'm just an observer or a passerby, that would stand out to me with him. And then beyond it, the thing that I love is his standard is the standard. He does not allow that to be bent. And that can be very difficult when you're a younger person in that role. To be able to hold firm and not give in to the idea that, hey, I'm trying to be some version of a player's coach, connect with these guys, but also have to hold a line. And he has balanced that extremely well.